I've just joined another company,
Oh,
so it's
congratulations.
thank you. So it's been like a bit crazy for me.
Okay, so I strongly recommend you to.
I'm gonna install Sqoop, and I'm gonna try the commands during the weekend.
Oh, not at install.
Uh, well, the previous laptop where I installed it, I had to give it back to my previous company.
Same problem. Okay.
So I do have a desktop in my house, but it's very slow. It's just an i5 and 8 gig RAM. And it's very
It's an
slow.
8 GB RAM and i5 is quite enough to do this.
Yeah, you have to do it. I mean, it's even though it's a bit still slow, I'm gonna start doing it in my desktop, so I'm not
Okay.
dependent on anybody else.
Okay. For the okay, fine, no problem. Seeing the rest of the different kind of I can say what you call options we have seen. So let me show the options here, and this is incremental import. Yeah. So these are the options we have seen in the last class, if you guys remember, and we have talked about all these things. I'm going to show you. I'm going to explain one more time for the sake, since we didn't execute the commands. So I want to explain one more time here. The few important attributes, or you can say few important options for the scope. So boundary query. So what is a boundary query, Vijay?
It's used to identify the minimum and the maximum number of records, and
Oh,
depending on that, it will create the number of mappers.
very good. So why this boundary query option is available here? If that's doing by default, right? Then why should I have my own no, boundary query option here, the scope?
Okay, if you want to add, provide your own query. So, for example, if there is no primary key on a
Yeah,
table,
yeah,
and if you want to specify unique column, then you can use this.
yes. And what is the hyphen append option will do?
It will add data to an existing table.
Yes, it's not table, it's a location
Or
which is then HDFS.
yeah,
So
yeah,
normally what will happen when you import the data, it will create a folder with the table name and will start importing the data into the as a part file into the folder, right? So when you
yeah,
execute the same command again, or when you do when you execute a different command on the same table in the same location, what will happen? It says that the directories already exist. So I cannot
yeah.
recreate the directory. It will complain, right? Since it is a HDFS, once you create, you cannot modify or overwrite, right?
Yes.
So to append the data to an existing data which is available in the HDFS, so we can use a hyphen append option. Okay, it's a similar like our append to file option from the HDFS. Okay, now, and this is another most important interview question. The people may ask you that what are the file formats supported by Sqoop. These are the different kind of file formats will support by Sqoop by default. You really no need to do anything for this. You really no need to write any code for this. In your Sqoop query, you just need to specify as Auro file or as sequence file or as text file or as Parquet file. So the
Veera,
yeah, so there.
hello. Sorry, Veera. I'm not sure if I missed it or if I already explained, but I just want to know. So when we use this append command,
Mm-hmm.
will it compare the existing data to the new data
No,
and append only the new data,
no.
or will it dump the whole data?
Whole data it will dump it. No comparison, nothing. It's just a plain append again. If you execute the same command 10 times using the append command, 10 times the same data will be available.
Oh, okay.
So I know that
So is
what
there
question
any
you are asking.
command to I just want to know, is there any other command that can be used to compare the data and only append the new lines or new data?
Records. Yeah. So it is not like it will compare with the data which is already exist in the HDFS, but while fetching the data from RDBMS, it will fetch only new records. That command is available. We are going to see today.
Oh,
That
okay.
that is the most important interview question which you have asked me now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
Veera.
Sorry, Veera, what was that? I completely missed it. Could you repeat that? What was the question?
The question is that if I use ---- append, will it duplicate the data or will it take the only unique data? That's the
Right.
question. Okay. So let me try and execute this and show you. Okay. Instead of having a plain discussion. The question is that I have imported a data using append option, and the first time I have uploaded 10 records. Let's say my table has a 10 records and I have used the 10 records to import the data. Again, I have used same command second time. Let's say this time my table has a 15 records. Now I have used append, executed the same command one more time. Will my append will take only the newly added 5 records, or it will take the all 15 records? That's the question. So the answer is for that, yes, it will take all 15 records. Again, execution it has taken 10 records, the second execution will take a 15 records. It means total 25 records will be there in your HDFS. Is it clear, Vijay, what I'm trying to explain?
Yes, yes, Veera. It's basically it's gonna like append whatever you're trying to append again.
Yeah, exactly.
Irrespective of whether it's already or not.
Yeah. So let me explain here. Because it's really important to understand. That's the reason I'm spending time on this to explain you. So let me do that. Let me connect this. Let's assume that I have a table in RDBMS. Since we'll use the Sqoop is for the only RDBMS, right, to get the data from RDBMS. So let's say I have a table here which has the 10 records on this. Wow. Okay. Let's say this is ID, name, salary, date of join or something. Okay. It has a 1, 2 and so on, 10 records are there. I have written my Sqoop query on this table. The table name is employee. I have queried this table and I have loaded into HDFS. I have loaded into some HDFS location. So here I have an employee directory which is downloaded all 10 records. I have a 10 records in this, comma separated. Okay, all 10 records are loaded. And the query, while using the query, I have used ---- append command. I have used ---- append command. I have used ---- append command. Now when I use ---- append command, it doesn't. It's not as simple as that. You have to write all your Sqoop, import, ---- connect, and all blah blah blah, all these things you need to write: username, password, database, URL, everything you need to write. And along with that, you have written ---- append. Then the data is loaded. The same query I have executed one more time. What will happen in this time? This time the 10 records this 10 records became 15 records. It means another 5 records has been added. So initially when I load that, it has a 10 records in this. The first iteration, I can say first execution. When I execute the same thing second time, same command second time, when I execute the same command second time, now this time it will fetch 15 records instead of fetching the 5 records. Why? Because it is a plain import. You are not telling to your query you take only the updated records or you take only the modified records. You are not specifying here. You are not telling that information to your query. Your query never understand that. Your query plainly just Sqoop import. You are not telling anything extra information to that. you are telling append is an extra information. Append is for not for the your RDBMS. Append is for the your HDFS. Then this time what it will do? It will bring 15 records here. 15 records. Here it is 10 records initially. Now it's 15 records. Total 25 records will be there. Is this clear, Vijay? Sudhir?
Bira, why is it bringing 15 again? Because the employee table in the database had 10 records, right?
No, five more records are added, right? In the second iteration before second.
Okay, now it's bringing 15. Okay, fine. Okay, got it.
First time it was 10 records. Later it has 5 records has been added. So what Sudhir is expecting? Sudhir is expecting only 5 records, the updated records, but it is giving him 15 records, right?
Okay.
So why it is taking 15 records? Since my Sqoop query does not have any clue that these are the 5 records has been newly added. That does not have any clue for that. So that clue we are going to give that. We are going to see that today. That is called incremental import. That is called incremental import. What is the incremental import? The same scenario what I have explained now. So today my employee table has a 10 members are joined, so 10 records are there. I have imported. The next day 5 more people are added in the different locations. Now my employee table total has a 15 records. Now if I execute the import command, it is fetching a 5. Yesterday 10 records already there. Now again it is fetching the 15 records. It means total 25, but total number of employees are only 15, but it is showing a 25, which is wrong, right? So here I will give a hint to my Sqoop query saying that you don't fetch all the records, you fetch only updated records, only newly added records. Instead of using update, I can say newly added records. You fetch only newly added records. That clue or that information I should tell to my Sqoop query. That is called incremental import. That is called incremental import. Before getting into incremental import, okay, I just want to make sure that we all understand these options, okay, because tomorrow I know that when we go for interview, most of the guys will ask some at least minimum 1 or 2 questions from the Sqoop, because we are in a world of RDBMS and we are migrating to Hadoop, and they will surely ask that how you are fetching the data from RDBMS to HDFS. They will ask this question for sure. Okay, so there is a interview question has been asked me, how many type of file formats supported by Sqoop? These are the 4 file formats will support by the Sqoop. Okay, and there may be a people may ask you that I want to fetch only 2 columns from out of 20 columns. So you can specify hyphen columns is an option, and you just need to pass your column name. Are you guys able to follow? If you want the queries, okay, if you want the queries, since we are not getting the time to write a queries, but you want to view the query, you want to read the query, I already shared a document. I think I have already shared the document. Let me see that. No problem. If it is not there here, I'll just start here. I'll just create here. Where is the Hadoop? And the Sqoop and the Sqoop imports. Sqoop commands. This file is available in the drive. So I want you to look. I want you to not look here. I want you to execute each and every command. Each and every command. You just nothing to do here. You just copy and paste. You just change your username password according to your setup. You just copy this and execute in the terminal. So as simple as that. You just copy this and execute, paste in the terminal. But since I'm copying from Windows machine, so into a Linux environment, I just need to take care of a little. I think it will work. Not yeah. So it is working. So since even new line characters has been taken properly. Look at here, list databases. I just use the command for the list databases. These are the databases are available in MySQL database. In my database, in my SQL database. So let me show you that. Let me log into MySQL and let me show you that what are the databases are available in MySQL. If we want to list out all the databases, what is the command? Sqoop space list databases. Very simple command. Very simple command.
Veera, while you're doing this, can I ask a couple of questions? I kind of forgot. What version of MySQL and Sqoop did we install in our class?
It's really I mean, okay. So we are not going to download a specific version of the MySQL here. What we are doing, we are
Right.
using the sudo apt-get. So in that your libraries, like in your source, let me show you here 1 second. I'll just show you. So when you do here, when you do sudo, first before installing any software, I recommend you to do this command: update sudo
Yep.
space apt-get update. What it will do? What is the purpose of this? We already discussed. Let me recap you one more time. This one, it'll update all your source list. It will update all your source list. Your Ubuntu is a open source, right? If it is a
Yep.
Windows, the Windows will release the updates, and you will get the updates here. You'll click on that, and you'll start installing the updates. But Ubuntu also, some of the websites, if you look at here, in.archive.ubuntu.com, and they are giving some updates. They will be releasing some updates. So in your Ubuntu machine, there is something called source list. There will be something called source list. So when you use
Yep.
that source list, what it will do, the source list will contain the list of the URLs like this. List of URLs like this. What they will do, if any update is available, they will bring that package. They will bring that package. These are all packages. They'll bring that package. Look at here, package. They will bring that
Yep.
packages and they'll update that package. So here, what you need to do while you're installing your MySQL, before installing MySQL, first you update your
Package.
Ubuntu packages
Okay.
and do sudo apt-get install MySQL-server. I think this is the only command, MySQL-server. So when you press enter, it will start doing that. It's already telling me it's already available, and it is telling that first you
Okay.
remove and reinstall. So it will take the whatever your Ubuntu supports MySQL, that version will be taken. So we really
Okay.
no need to worry about that version. Okay, and also you have a document for the setup. Okay, so very simple and straightforward setup doing a MySQL and your Sqoop.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Now, so if
And
you
the
log in,
version of Sqoop.
sorry, 1.4.6.
Okay.
You take for Hadoop 2. Okay, when you log into that website, Apache website, you will find for Hadoop 1 version, the same Sqoop version will be there for Hadoop 1, and the same Sqoop
Okay.
version will be there for Hadoop 2 as well. Okay, I recommend you
Okay.
to take for the Hadoop 2. So if you take Hadoop
Okay.
1, some of the libraries will not work here.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Thanks, Veera.
Yeah. So let me show you that show databases here. So if I see the show databases, what are the databases I have here? The same databases has been listed out here. Oh, I have done this one. No problem. I'll execute. I'll execute one more time. Okay, you can look at the same. So in information schema, CCA 175, Metastore, MySQL, performance. I mean, same information will be available here also. Okay. So from the Sqoop, you can directly connect to RDBMS. You can list out all the databases, and you can also list out all the tables as well. Okay. So I don't want to spend much time on this. I just want you to execute all this command, and the most important eval. These are all tools. Okay. When you just type Sqoop here, sorry, it is a Scala part. When you just type Sqoop here, it will list out. Okay, Sqoop help. Look at here. The Sqoop by default comes with some set of tools. These are all we'll call tools, or we can call as a commands. Okay. So either you can call as a tool or you can call as a commands. These are the commands we have explained in the very first video. And if you look at here, eval code gen, I'll tell about it will generate some code for your thing. And create a hive table, you can directly create a hive table, but since we didn't see what is a hive, so it will take some time to understand what is that. You can directly put the data from RDBMS to hive table. So put into very simple way, you can directly get the data put into hive table in HDFS. And eval is one command, export is one command, import is one command, import all tables, import mainframes for the two connector mainframes, list databases we just now executed, list tables, it will list out all the tables in a specific database, merge, metastore and version. These are all the tools is given or commands are given by a Sqoop, and all these commands has been explained here in the command in the form of query. So in that, one of the query is eval. What is this eval? Eval is the evaluate. So now if you look at this query, what I'm trying to do, I'm not importing a data, I'm just connecting to my RDBMS by passing my username and password. After connecting, see, if I'm able to connect to RDBMS, I can fire any query on it, right? If I'm able to connect to any RDBMS, I can fire any query on it. Yes or no? I can fire any query on that. So I should get the permission to connect a database. Once I connect the database, I can play with it, right? Here also the same thing is happening. I have connected to my database and I'm triggering my query, triggering a query. Look at here. Okay. So let me execute this. You just trigger that and it will get you the count of the specific table order items. So it brought you a count. So 1,72,198 records are there in that specific table. So it's not always no need to give your hyphen query. You can give hyphen e as well. Hyphen e as well. Execute. Hyphen e means execute. Execute. I hope everyone able to follow. Sudhir, Ashok, I think Shakti. Hi Shakti.
Yes.
Yeah. So look at here, that is the evaluate, and you can pass a query or you can pass hyphen e as an option. Okay, these are all
Okay,
we
so
have.
it's
Yeah,
just used to execute a query, that's it, right?
yeah, execute a query. Okay,
Okay.
you guys know what is the import. Okay, so querying is not only select, you can do anything, you can insert the records, you can update the records, anything you can do using eval. Eval is evaluating your query, evaluating and executing your query. You can update the records, you can insert the records. Look at here, you have all options are available here. You have all the options are available. You can insert it, you can update it, you can remove it, whatever you want to do. And import, we have talked enough about the imports, all the options we have seen. And the less, this is append option I was talking about. You just need to give hyphen append. And if you want to change any file format, hyphen text file or hyphen as auro file, hyphen as parquet file, as sequence file, you can specify the different kind of file formats which is supported by Sqoop. These are the file formats you can give. Is that clear to everyone? So I have given here, you can look, you can have a look. I have created our file. Okay. So we'll talk about the condition later. I just need to explain what is the condition with a little more explanation, but I'll explain that little. It's very simple. So when the parallel job runs, so my parallel job should understand the condition, what condition it is. So I'll explain that in a minute, or after this another important command is completed. Later we can discuss about the condition. The condition will use it along with the where class. Okay, along with the where class. Even without where class also we can use it, but I'll show you how to do that. And that has, yeah, suppose by default, as I told you, that when import the data into HDFS, by default it is the comma separated. You don't like to have a comma separate, you want to have your own different kind of terminator. You can use hyphen fields terminated by this, and hyphen lines terminated by this. Please remember, when you import the data from RDBMS to HDFS, by default it's a comma separated. And immediate next question will come as an interview question. What they will do, if my table has a comma, how it will work? Let's assume that. Let me show you here. Let me show you here. I'm just dragging I'm increasing my canvas of paintbrush. Okay. Now let's say name, I have something like Veera, Ravi. Now when I import that, let's say, let me write it here. ID is 101. My name is Kumar. This is a single column, okay? This is a single column I have, and salary I have $1,000, and I have a date of join is some date of join, something. Now when I import this, the data will go to HDFS in the form of, in HDFS it will go 101 comma Veera Ravi comma Kumar comma 1000 comma some date. Okay. Now actually my table has 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, but when I look at this record, it is giving me 5 records, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a little wrong, right? It should take it as a single column. So how will you handle such kind of issues? This is the most important interview question. The people may ask you such kind of thing. So you can debug it. There is something called escape sequences, where you can use the escape sequences, and where you can make sure that, and we can identify the columns. Okay, one column to another column, we can identify that by using escape sequence characters. We can do that.
What's this topic about? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
The topic is about the same only. We didn't start at the new topic. We are just continuing the same topic. We have started talking about the import only. The same thing I'm just recapping, because since you are not there, right? So to get the benefit of you.
No, I was there actually. I couldn't hear anything, so that's why I restarted it.
Yeah. So we are just talking about this same what we have talked in the last week.
Okay.
Okay.
So the incremental.
No, incremental is not yet come. So I just incremental we'll talk about now. Okay. So I hope everyone is clear about these options, and you have a compression. While loading the data into HDFS, you want to compress, you can compress by using hyphen compress or -jet. By default, it uses the default is zzip, and you have a different kind of compression techniques. So I don't know whether you guys have noted down or not in the last class. There are different kind of compression techniques are available. Those are zzip. We know that zzip is the default one, and other one is the bzip2. Other one is LZO. Other one is snappy. These are the different compression techniques is supported by big data or Hadoop. Okay, and why we have a different why we need to use this? So each one has their own advantages and disadvantages. We will see that in the different class when we are talking about compression techniques. Okay, so it has its own advantages, like this uses a different kind of compression technique, and this uses different kind of compression techniques, and this. We will choose.
Compress files. Sorry, is it to compress HDFS files, or is it a method to compress and load into the HDFS?
So you can compress and load the data, or once the data is loaded, you can compress, or while processing, you can compress.
From HDFS itself, even if it is a terabyte.
Yes. So let's say I have a plain uncompressed data in HDFS, and there will be something called mapper. So if I'm processing this data, this mapper will emit the intermediate data. Intermediate data means output of this mapper. This also I can compress. or this also I can compress. So like that I can do. We will talk about, we have a full-fledged compression class for that.
Okay.
Okay, let's move incremental import. The problem statement was, let me make it mute. I think I'm getting echo. You guys can go through what is a distributed cache. We already talked about the distributed cache. Okay, I enter a question for you guys. By default, how many mappers will launch for the distributed cache? How
4,
many
right?
mappers will
4.
launch distributed cache? I'm not talking about a Sqoop. I'm not talking
Distributed
about
cache.
distributed cache. Okay, yeah, I think we didn't see that, right? We didn't see that. Okay, fine. So, sorry, confused. No, not distributed cache. Dist CP, distributed copy. Dist CP. Do you guys remember dist CP? What is the purpose of the dist CP? Dist CP.
To import the data from remote system to Hadoop HDFS.
Remote system or
Not only like
different cluster? Different cluster, right?
yeah, different customer. Yeah.
So, what are the how many? What is the default mappers for the dist CP, distributed copy? We had a talk about it. We have executed the command also within the same cluster, and even I have explained through a document. If you guys remember, I think please have a look in the document. This is also one of the interview question. I mean, people will be keep asking so different kind of interview questions. I just want to bring to your notice. This is also one of the interview question. Okay, so
So what was the question? What was the question?
how many mappers will launch for dist CP, distributed copy? How many mappers will launch for dist CP? That is the question.
Okay. I don't know.
So how many? We didn't discuss about the dist CP. We have a look. We discussed about this. No? Yes? No? Hmm? So we have discussed about this, and let me know after going through this document, and please let me know how many default mappers will launch for this. Okay, default Sqoop uses the 4, but for dist CP, not the distributed copy, dist CP, how many mappers will launch? Okay, yeah, incremental import. Now, so let me bring a problem statement for you, since Ravi was joined little late. So my problem statement is, Ravi, please try to understand. The problem statement is, so I have an employee table which has a 10 records in it, So I have written a query for the Sqoop query, and that the 10 records has been loaded into HDFS. The 10 records has been loaded into HDFS. This is the 10 records. The load 1, let's say it's a execution 1, and after, I mean, in employee table, I have in the first day I have a 10 employees are joined, and the second day, as soon as the employees are joined, end of the day, I have imported Sqoop. I have imported the data. The next day, 5 members join. It means now my employee table has a 15 people, 15 records. So I have executed the same query again. How many records will be fetched? I have executed the same query again the next day. How many records it will fetch? How many records it will fetch? It will fetch 15 records this time. The first execution 10 records. Execution 2, it will bring 15 records. So why? Why? Because the table has the 15 records. When I look at here, it is showing me 25 records, including the duplicates, but my actual original table has only 15 records, which is a mismatch and which is a little wrong, right? So actually, what was my expectation at the time of execution, second execution? My expectation is to bring only newly added records. That is was my expectation. When I run an query second time, I'm expecting to bring only the newly added records. I don't want the old records. So my expectation is to bring only newly added records. How will I do that? So for that, Sqoop is come up with a different command. Sqoop is come up with a different command that is called incremental. That's called incremental. We will call that that type of imports incremental import. We'll call incremental import. So let's have a look in your user guide. Sqoop provides an incremental import mode which can be used to retrieve only rows newer than some previous imported data set or imported set.
Sorry, Veera, one question. This is similar to change data capture. Will you compare and load, or the command itself will capture only the new record?
The command itself will capture only the new records. It will not compare. It will
How
fetch
it will
only.
come?
That's what we are
Okay,
going to see.
so okay, fine. So it has to compare the source and target, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes if you remove something in the target, you delete something in the target, but you have 15 records, but the target has 9 records only. Originally it was 10, but you removed something from record.
Yeah.
But it has to fetch another 6 records, right?
Yeah. So this is also another interview question which I have come across. Okay. So please make a note of this. Okay. So here, let's say this one. This is called incremental import. I mean, let me explain the positive use case. Then I'll go with the negative use case. Your question. So first execution, I have loaded 10 records. The second execution, I am expecting only 5 newly inserted records. I don't want the old records. Newly inserted records. Okay. Now, in this case, I need to go with incremental import. The incremental import comes with these are the arguments. Now, suppose you tell me if I want to increment or if I want to import only the newly added records, if I want to fetch only newly added records, how will I fetch that? How will I identify that?
You need to know the already loaded records.
So we need to understand what was my last record I had imported. Correct?
Yeah.
I need to know what was the last record I was imported. Right? So the last record is on what base and which column? The last record, which column? That is called hyphen column. Check the column. What I'm trying to say here, check the column. Is that column has been incremented? This column has a 10. The column is ID. This is the check column. This is my check column. So whenever I'm next execution I'm going to do, I'm going to check this column. Is there any increment or is there any new records from my last record? How will I
This is like a
understand?
sequence, right? One second, Veera. So the ID, what you're mentioning, is it like a sequence or is it like a unique column? Should have something unique, right? Then only we'll know. For example, if you have,
Correct.
is it like a count or sequence, or how will you take that particular
Value of that column. No need to be
value of
sequence.
that column? Okay, not sequence. Okay, let it be not sequence. It could be any alphanumeric or any other value we can have it, right? Incremental in the sense, what do you mean by that? For example, if it counts the 10th record, okay, or if it has duplicate values, it will check the previous one, right? For example, 10, next one is 10. If it is like that, then how to consider? Will it take the last one or the previous one? So it should have something unique in that particular column. Then only the incremental checksum will work, right?
No. Could you please repeat your say?
See, for example, in that ID column, if
Mm,
we have two records having the same value, for
okay.
example, 10 and 10,
Mm-hmm.
instead of the count, for example, if we count row number, if we count it 1 to 10, that is unique. 10th record is not incremented from the previous node. Okay.
Okay.
So if that one has the same value repeated, for example, if it is just consider it's not unique, 10 comma 10,
Okay. Again.
1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, in that case, how it will increment?
Okay. It has to be in unique column actually.
Yeah, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's okay.
So look at here this check column. To specify the column to be examined when determining which row to import. The column should not be type of
Yeah, then it's okay. Yeah, should be numeric.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
then it's
when
okay.
it comes to the incremental, there are two modes of incremental. Now look at here the query. Now is the time to show you the query. Now look at here. Incremental. I'm adding a new option here, incremental. We understand what is a check column. We understood what is a check column, right? And
Yeah,
let me tell you what was the last value. Last value is nothing but till what record I have uploaded. I mean imported. Till what record I have imported. Initially it will be 0. Once you have imported 15 records, let's say, your last value will become a 15. Your last value will become a 15. Yes or no?
yeah, yeah.
Now, this is your incremental has comes with the two modes. One is the append. This append says that you bring only newly added records. The append mode says that this append is different than other append. Okay, don't get confused with this append, and we have one more option called append option. Don't get confused with these two append. This is called incremental append. This is normal append. Okay, this is incremental mode append. Incremental mode append is nothing but you are telling that you bring newly inserted records from 15 to 20. Don't bring the 1 to 15. Okay, that is append mode. You may ask immediately, Ravi, when I say database, it's not always inserting new records, right? There may be a chance I may modify the old existing records. There may be a chance I may modify the old existing records, right? How will I bring them? How will I bring them? So if it is the incremental append mode, I'll go through the value of that column. I'll find this column. Okay, this is the 15 till 15 in the last iteration. I have imported till 15th record, and from 15 I need to import. That I can understand. In the first 15 records, 9 and 10th record I have modified. How my command will come to know these records are modified. These are also I need to bring it. The new changes also has to be there in HDFS. How will I know that? How will I know that? So for that you have another option called last to modified. Look at guys here. There is an option called last to modified. If you see the mode include append and last to modified. So you will specify. If I specify the last to modified, I think everyone understand what is the last value. Okay. So everyone understand what is the last value. So append is it will bring only newly inserted record. Last to modified, whatever the records have been modified since last iteration, not only modified, newly inserted records also it will bring. It will bring the newly inserted records as well as modified records. How it will be knowing that? How it will be knowing that whether the record is modified or not? See, inserted is a very straightforward. I can see that. I can see the number. I can see the value of it. I can bring it. But where it will check? whether it is modified or not. For that, you should have a date column. Look at guys here. Sqoop supports two types of incremental imports, append and last modified. You can use hyphen incremental argument to specify the type of the argument to perform. If you should specify append mode when importing a table where new rows continually being added with the increasing row ID values. You will specify the column contain the row IDs. Row IDs is nothing but values, so that's called a check column. The Sqoop imports the rows where check column has a value greater than the one you specified in the last value. It will check the greater than, okay, it will check the greater than and it will bring those values. It will bring only those values. I hope you guys are able to follow. I will show this example. First time let me finish the theory part and I'll show an example. Okay. Now an alternate table update strategy supported by Sqoop is called last modified mode. You should use this when rows of the source table may update it, and each such update will set the value of the last modified column to the current timestamp. What it should contain? They should contain a column which is called contains the date or last timestamp. Based on the timestamp, I will bring rows were check column holds the timestamp more recent than the timestamp specified with the last value. Is that clear to everyone? You guys has been muted. If you want unmute and please talk.
We are not very clear, but when you execute the example, then probably it will be clear.
Okay, so which part is not clear? So it's a very simple and straightforward one. Which part is not clear? I'll repeat the same again.
The last value, dash last value.
So suppose you want to bring the, okay, let me open again the diagram. So I have in the first iteration I brought 1 to 10 records. Now in the second iteration I need to bring from the 10, right?
11.
11. Greater than the last value.
Yeah.
So who will tell that? I need to bring my query. Yes, that is the hyphen last value.
Yeah.
That is the hyphen last value.
Right.
That last value I say here 10. It means till 10 I have downloaded. You download from the 11th. That's the meaning of it. That is the hyphen last value. Is that clear?
That is clear, but the only thing that is not clear is when the table is constantly being updated, or when new records are being inserted into the table.
Okay.
We have to also keep importing data into Hadoop.
Okay.
So we have to always keep track of the last inserted value and then do a greater than, right?
Yes, we need to keep track of it. It's a very good question. It's also an important interview question. Keep make a note of it. So I understand what is this question is. Let me put in this way. Every time who will keep track of this? The job will be keep running? No. Every time I cannot give a manually, right? Every time I cannot hard code here, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Every time I cannot hard code it. Who will hard code in the query? I should not hard code. Something should take automatically. Right? For that, what we will do, there are two solutions for this. Different solutions, not two solutions. Again, I'm keeping in a mute. I'm getting some disturbance. So the solution one is when you run the job one. Where is this? Yeah. When you run the job one, first time. So I will maintain one audit table. I'll maintain one audit table. I can have any number of columns. I can have any number of columns in this. Let me go with only two columns. One is job ID and the last value. One is the job ID, let's say JID. JID and the last value. I can maintain this table in RDBMS or in my HDFS, or I can keep a flat file. I can keep a flat file, empty file. In this file, every time I will be updating my last value. Let's say first 10. Second time, if anything comes, I'll delete this file. I'll create a new file with the 15. And next third iteration, I'll delete this. I'll create a new file with the 20. So it like that. I'll maintain the plain text file. So now the question is here: you maintain the audit table or you maintain the file? Before executing your query, actual query, before executing your Sqoop query, you need to query this table, or you need to write a script to read this file, or okay, you need to either query this job 1 10, job 2 15. You need to query this table, get the value. You need to query or read table or text file, get the value, last value, and pass that value to Sqoop query. Understand, Vijay? Am I answered your question?
Yes, Veera.
So what you need to do, either you need to maintain an audit table or you need to maintain some empty file or text file in the HDFS or RDBMS. What do you need to do? Before executing your Sqoop query, first you need to look into this table or this file, get the value, make it as a parameter and pass to your query. It's clear?
Yep.
Okay.
But can Sqoop not automatically do this for us, because it knows what it's importing, and it also has the data in the
So where it is
Hadoop,
stored?
right?
It cannot understand, right? It has to show somewhere.
Yeah, it is already storing the data in the file system, right?
It's a HDFS, not in the Sqoop, right? How Sqoop will know that?
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Okay.
Understand, right, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So here that is also possible, Vijay. That is also possible. Okay. For that we have something called Sqoop job. There is something called Sqoop job. We're going to talk about that later, not at this point. So the Sqoop job, the Sqoop internally maintains a database, a meta store. Sqoop internally maintains a meta store. In that meta store, it will keep track of what was my last value. But if you create a job only, it will do. If you create a Sqoop job only, it will do. Sqoop job hyphen create you need to do, and you need to continue with all other steps. We will see that in the next class. But for time being, you just continue. Now, this is about append. What about the last modified? So in my RDBMS, I should have a timestamp column. Every time I query, first I will check the timestamp. Is the timestamp is greater than the current timestamp? Based on that, it will import. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the let me take you through query query here. This is append option. So last modified, you just need to specify what is your last modified column. I mean incremental mode is the last modified, and you need to specify your column name here, which is the date or timestamp, and the last modified value you need to pass. That's it. That's it. Okay. So take it as an assignment. What you need to do: first you query your order table or customer table or department table, and after inserting that, you insert a new two more records or three more records into the MySQL. Then execute this command by passing the last value manually. You guys try with the manually, but in the real time we will be having a jobs, job 1, job 2, job 3, like that. Those jobs will take care of those. Okay, so this is about incremental import. This is about incremental import. Now make a note of the interview questions from here. I don't know how many interview questions you make a note of, noted at the till this time. So next interview question is, if one record has been deleted from RDBMS, but that record will be exist in the HDFS. So how it will be updated? So here even I didn't come across this. Let me think. It can, if it's deleted from RDBMS, there won't be any entry in the RDBMS, and it has to be in the HDFS, but the entry will be there in HDFS. When I query next time the HDFS, it will be there, the deleted query. Okay, I'll think and I'll come back on that. Okay, Ravi, the question has been raised by Ravi. Okay, even this question I have been asked in the interview, one of the interview, but that time I said that I'll take some temporary table, I'll compare and all, but it's not right answer. So I'll check and I'll come back on that. Next interview question. Let's say I have a 10 records here. I didn't insert any new records in the table. I didn't insert any new records. Instead of that, I have modified two records. 9th and 10th record I modified. Now I executed my import, incremental import, by specifying the timestamp. Now 9th and 10th will have a duplicate records or not? With the old value, with the new value. The old value, new value. So what we will do that? How we will solve that problem? So here we'll actually take this. Here we actually take the temporary table in the HDFS, and we'll compare. We'll take the whatever is there, the last updated value, updated data. We will take that updated data only. Second, someone is unmuted.
Yes.
Yeah. So in this case, yes, we will take.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, Rai, we have a question. So the 9th and 10th record have an updated value, right?
Yes.
So in the HDFS, will you load or update the record with the new timestamp?
No, it will just append. So HDFS never support updates, right?
Update. Append. Okay, fine. So that will have a new value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it will be having old and new value. Both will be there. It will be having old and new. Both values will be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this case, what we will do, we will be knowing that whether the table is getting updated, only new inserts or updated table. We will be knowing that being while designing our RDBMS data model. So while importing the data, we'll put into the temporary table. After importing the data, we will compare with the original table in HDFS, and whatever the new records are there, we'll move to the new location. I mean, a new table. We'll remove the old one. We can do that with the temporary table. Okay. So that's it about the incremental import. I really didn't execute any of the query here. So since I want you to do that, okay, please execute them. the queries, all queries are available here. You just no need to do anything. You just copy paste and you just need to play with them, so changing the values and all those things. Okay, so
Did you answer the interview question of what happens when a record is deleted?
no, that I just said about the I'll take in a temporary and I'll compare whether that record is available or not. So, but that is
Okay.
really not a right answer, I think. So, I need to look at that. But I don't
Okay.
know. The
Okay.
interview was success.
Okay.
So that's not for
Viral,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Like since the Sqoop is determining or taking the query based on the primary key values,
Hmm.
if some of the rows has been deleted, then that value won't be there, right?
Hmm.
So anyhow, it will not duplicate, but there will be an extra value in HDFS, right?
That is the problem. That is the only problem, right? So tomorrow I'm querying my HDFS table. I'm generating some report, and it gives me the extra column value, right?
Yeah.
That is
Okay. Yes.
that is the only problem. How will you solve that problem? That is the question.
Okay. Yeah.
But I tried telling him that I'll take some temporary table and the temporary table data and the original data I will compare. I mean, I just tried to do something there, but it's really not going to work out, I think. Okay. But I don't know, somehow. So the question is, if it is a normal file system, I have something called CRC, cyclic redundancy check, to check whether the data is modified or the data has been updated or something, right? That's we have a CRC in the normal HFS commands. But here, each import, I think you didn't execute the import command. That's the reason you asked this question. Here, each import is a new file. Ashok, for each import,
Yes.
it will create the new
Yeah.
files. Okay. So when you're putting a new files, we really no need to check. You really no need to check the old files. But this new files under the single directory, and the CRC is a daemon which will be keep checking in all the data nodes. Even though whatever the data we're putting into HDFS, the data will be anyway. It will be check the CRC whether the data is corrupted or not. The CRC will be obviously will be there for that newly inserted files as well.
No, like say example, I have around 1,000 rows are there in one HDFS, RDBMS table,
Okay.
and I'm executing the import command,
Okay.
and I can't go and manually check the HDFS system that whether the 1,000 rows has been executed or not, right?
Oh,
If
okay.
it is 10 rows, then I can easily see the manually that okay, only the 10 rows are being imported successfully.
Okay.
But if I have something, yeah, that's my question. Yeah.
Yeah. So his question is that, let me reframe the question. His question is that he has 100 records in the table, and when he import that, he want to make sure that whether the 100 records has been imported or not. That's the question, Ashok.
Yes. Yeah.
There may be a chance of importing only 90 records and 10 records are not importing, such kind of thing is there. So in this case, I would like to tell you, when you launch a job, okay, so it will prepare the boundary query, right? We know the boundary query. So once the boundary query is prepared, once the data is started importing, if any of the job is failed, the complete job will fail. Let's say I downloaded only 90 records, the fourth task is failed, so complete job will fail. It will never copy the partial data.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I understood now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it for today, guys. So we'll continue next class in the next on Monday. What about Monday? I think everyone will be available, right?
Yes, I am available.
I am available too.
Yeah. So